for the And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto, and then shall the end come. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great day of the Lord come. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto them, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty, but they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein, but I set it far from them.
On behalf of Ripley, Little Earth, myself, and our crew, welcome to the Crew Dragon. Congratulations to all of the teams who made yesterday's launch and today's docking a success. These amazing feats show us what our mission is, but how capable we are of doing hard things. Welcome to the new era in spaceflight.
Cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. And the Lord said unto, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all things that be done in the midst thereof. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary host to be trodden under foot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sea be cleansed. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up against thee. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship, whose deadly wound was healed. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, And the dragon fought, and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east to the south, and their noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the corners. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of heaven.
And now Elon Musk is the card, but Elon Musk is sending rockets into the space, right? He's sending these rockets up. Do you know what he plans to do next? He's going to put people on them and send them up to the moon. He's going to money, they're going to go up to the moon. What are they going to do? They're going to look out the windows and photograph the earth. Think of all these people that are going to be going up. And this is a few years, it's not long in the future. And they're going to be round, blue, beautiful planet out here in space. Thousands of photographs and videos from the space station as it moved in the heavens above the earth. It such a magnificent sight, it took his breath away. Right now, you can log on to the internet if you want to. And you can go to the International Space Station, the ISS. And you can get a live feed from that space station, right? Watch it as it moves across the face of the earth. When they are in possession of that enormous amount of material that proves that this earth, do you know what they think about us?
I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people for a alliance, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, Ye are our gods. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among are this, and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified. Or let them hear and say, It is truth.
I think starting a rocket company is an unusual thing to do and pretty risky. But I'm a big believer in us becoming a space spirit and ultimately extending life beyond Earth.
The son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped. He as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
When I was in college, I tried to think, what are the really big things of the world, that which will most affect the future of humanity? And the three that I thought were the most important were the internet, transition to a sustainable energy economy, and the third was space exploration, in particular, making life multiplanetary.
Pick it all up, and start again. You've got a second chance, you could go home, escape it all, it's just irrelevant. It's just medicine. Just medicine. You could still what you want to, what you said you were when I met you. just met us.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a future that is inspiring and appealing. I mean, I just think that there have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Like, why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have. I think the value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad.
And liftoff. Liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon to the International Space Station and returning cargo resupply missions to U.S. soil.
October 7th marked the beginning of a 3-week space adventure for the Dragon. Launching atop the Falcon 9 rocket, Dragon blasted to space and into Earth's orbit.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he doeth great wonders, fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
After circling Earth for about 2 days, it caught up to the International Space Station. It's home for the next 2.5
Houston, station on 2. Capture complete. Looks like we've tamed the Dragon.
And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority.
We're happy she's on board with us.
That's NASA Ashley Williams, who, along with Akihiko Hoshide of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, captured Dragon and anxiously opened the hatch to retrieve crew supplies for important science research, hardware, and even some ice cream.
Homemade ice cream is something special, and we're going to have a little party. Aki and I were telling Yuri, and tonight's our dessert night.
Dragon is expected to stay attached to the space station until October 28th. It will be loaded with over 1,500 pounds of cargo, which will Earth in a Pacific Ocean splashdown. Dragon is currently the only craft capable of returning a significant amount of supplies from the station.
One of the most interesting and unique aspects of this vehicle and its follow-on will be that it can bring stuff back to Earth.
This is Dragon's second visit to the space station, and certainly not its last. There will be at least 11 more trips planned, and Dragon is currently being designed to carry astronauts in the future as well.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out, and his angels were cast out with him.
Made some money from the sale of PayPal. You decided to build a space company. Why on earth would someone do that?
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
The goal of SpaceX is to try to advance rocket technology, and in particular to try to crack a problem that I think is vital for humanity to become a civilization.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Which is to have a rapidly and fully reusable rocket.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
What are the things that need to happen in order for the future to be an exciting and inspiring? And I really think there's a fundamental difference if you sort of look into the future between a humanity that is a spacefaring civilization that's out there, that's on multiple planets. And I think that's really exciting. And compared with one where we are forever confined to Earth until at some eventual extinction event.
No man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, that he is God.
But the big innovation is still ahead, and you're working on it now. Tell us about this.
It's important that the rocket stages be able to come back, to be able to return to the launch site and be ready to launch again within a matter of hours.
Even him whose coming is after the working of all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reusable rocket.
Yes.
I guess paves the way for your dream to actually take humanity to Mars at scale.
SpaceX or some combination of companies and governments need to make progress in the direction of making life multiplanetary, of establishing a base on another planet, on Mars being the only realistic option, and then building that base up until we're a true multi-planet species.
How have you done this? These projects are these PayPal, Solar City, Tesla, Space, totally different. They're such ambitious projects at scale. How on earth has one person been able to innovate in this way? What is it about you? Almost no one can do that.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
Elon Musk, I wish we had all day, but thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
today. Thank you.
Commercial crew astronauts on the Dragon to the International Space Station.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority, having 7 heads and...
The plan is for the rocket to eventually take astronauts to the International Space Station.
Dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority.
New at 11, a new look inside the path of future astronauts. SpaceX officially installed their crew access arm on Launch Pad 39A. The arm will give astronauts access from the access tower to a SpaceX Dragon capsule. According to NASA, the arm is 70 feet higher than its former space shuttle access arm. Getting closer.
And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying,
Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Well, another big step for SpaceX as it plans to test a Falcon crew capsule from our coast.
Yeah, the rocket is actually vertical on the launch pad right now. As News 6's James Sparvero reports, the plan is for the rocket to take astronauts to the International Space Station.
What's expected to be another monumental year for American spaceflight begins with a Falcon 9 out at Kennedy Space Center. For the first time, SpaceX equipping the rocket with its Crew Dragon capsule, a spacecraft for astronauts for the first time here in 8
that were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
The first time here in 8 years. Notice the new crew access arm added to Pad 39A, which astronauts will walk across to board the Dragon.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
We're all really excited about the upcoming test launch of the Dragon.
To be launched without astronauts first. Then this summer, it's the real deal. NASA's commercial crew astronauts on the Dragon to the International Space Station.
And I think everybody's going to be excited because it will enable us to stop reliance on the Russians. And I think every American's eager for that day to come.
The dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying,
Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. He being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
The goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
And we have ignition. The super drinkers have ignited and are pushing the Crew Dragon off.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong the great horn was broken. Before it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
The trunk is detached. Start deploy. Dragon is coupling as planned.
Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool.
All stations on Dragon, 1 minute until configure for terminal count.
T-minus 30 seconds. Minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9, go for propellant loading. Dragon is in countdown.
5, 4, 2, 1. Ignition.
Welcome to our live SpaceX's Dragon array station. Dragon's return to Earth. Dragon's Dragon
deorbit burn, and the Dragon
can burn.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, ye shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and her with fire.
There were a number of departure burns away from the International Space Station that Dragon completed. Pretty exciting deorbit burn.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
Dragon space deorbit burn would be about a 15-minute firing of those thrusters on Dragon.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, ye shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her.
Dragon was.
It almost didn't look real. When you actually saw it flying out there. Dragon executed all of its departure burns, 4 departure burns, following that initial separation.
And behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, spake as a dragon, spake as a dragon, spake as a dragon, spake as a dragon.
Deorbit burn.
Yeah, the Dragon spacecraft.
Dragon into the Dragon spacecraft. So
Dragon spacecraft.
The Dragon starts hitting the sphere that is going to start heating up. The orbit burn starts to descend, and that's going to heat the vehicle up. That's why you always have this heat shield on the bottom of these spacecrafts, and we're in this conical shape. It was that shape for a reason.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10.
And so that's why it's so common to see this capsule design, just because of how you re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. It makes a lot of sense. It's because as your Earth's atmosphere and you go through that intense heat,
and burn her with fire.
Plasma actually builds up on the outside of the spacecraft, and you can't send or receive there. So it's very common when there's people on board, you'll lose the voice communication between them and the ground, and you'll lose all the telemetry or the data streams that you have spacecraft to rooms like the Mission Control Center just behind us.
Dragon completed a series of 4 departure burns. Dragon spacecraft, we have completed the deorbit burn, and now we're just starting to come back down through the Earth's atmosphere and the final leg on Dragon's way home.
So this is a view from that WB-57 airplane. You were looking at Dragon streaking across the sky. You were looking at Dragon streaking across the sky on its re-entry through the Earth's atmosphere.
Our first view from planet Earth.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth. Angels were cast out with him.
Of the Dragon capsule since it lifted off from Cape Canaveral just several days ago. Dragon re-entering the Earth's atmosphere after departing from the International Space Station.
Continuing to descend.
And we have confirmation that Dragon is now under 100 meters, above the ocean.
Next up, standing by for splashdown.
to lift up and out of the water and into the nest, Dragon capsule nest.
Liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon to the International Space Station.
There was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And I beheld another beast coming, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell should make an image to the beast.
You're a neuroscience company, and you're working to build basically an interface to the brain.
Yeah. Electrode to neuron interface at a micro level is obvious. Micro level.
Okay, when it's plugged in the head, that's going to fit into a hard drive? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires. Micro level. Yeah.
This would be implanted.
It's obvious. Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
And it would do what? Could you input? Could you download Jim?
Yeah. It's obvious. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
Okay, so
this is very esoteric.
Yeah, when will I be able to get the interface implant?
Micro level.
When will I be able to get the interface implant?
Children in a playground. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
Basically, an effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes. It's obvious.
And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast,
No. It's all a lot easier in zero G, by the way. So there you have it. Dragon version 2, capable of carrying up to 7 astronauts, propulsively landing almost anywhere in the world, and something that's designed, as I said, to be fully reusable, so you can times, allowing for potential dramatic reduction in the cost of access to space. Thank you.
Hawthorne, this is Dragon. Falcon has placed us in orbit and trajectory looks good.
Copy that. We see the same. Time to next Delta V is 1 hour.
Quite the ride.
Yeah. Quite the view.
necessary to transport a large number of people and cargo to Mars, to create a self-sustaining civilization there. Thanks for having me.
So this is the Dragon that goes up.
Yeah, that's our Dragon spacecraft, or version 1, which is capable of taking cargo to and from the space station.
So when do human beings start going up in it, do you think?
So we expect to complete version 2 of Dragon, which will have astronaut transport capability.
And most of what you do now is send satellites up into space, right? That's how you pay the bills.
Exactly.
But you want to do something much more ambitious with SpaceX.
Yeah, I mean, the long-term aspiration is to develop the technologies necessary to transport a large number of people and cargo to Mars in order to create a self-sustaining civilization there. Create a self-sustaining civilization there. And that's really why I started the company, was because it seemed as though...
To create the possibility for life on other planets. Create the possibility for life on other planets. To create the possibility for life on other planets.
Yeah, exactly.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed unto perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet, and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, it shall be upon his own head.
And it came to pass after this, that I saw another host of chariots with men riding on them. And they came upon the wind from the east and from to the south. And the sound of the noise of their chariots was heard. And when this occurred, the holy ones observed it from heaven, and the pillars of the earth were shaken from their foundations, and the sound was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven throughout the day.
and build the foundation for an eventual mission to Mars. It's going to happen very quickly. And, you know, I've always said that rich guys seem to like rockets. Go ahead. If you beat us to Mars, we'll be very happy, and you'll be even more famous. But they do like that. Where's Eric? They do like rockets for some reason, huh? They like those rockets. But you know what? If as long as it's an American rich person, that's good. Okay? As long as it's an American rich person, they can beat us. And we are making our incredible facilities, okay, available to these people that have been doing so incredibly by themselves on rocketry beyond the Earth and into those forbidden skies, but they will not be forbidden for long, because we are giving you a platform the likes of which nobody has ever been given before.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them in heaven. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. And not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And he doeth great wonders, and maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short
A future where we are a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars. This is very exciting. If you can't eat it, join it. Like the purpose of Neuralink is to create a high bandwidth interface to the brain such that we can be symbiotic with AI. Able to slow down AI, to regulate AI. I met with Congress. I was at a meeting of all 50 governors and talked about just AI danger, and I talked to everyone I could. No one seemed to realize where this was going.
And he shall speak great words against them, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing.
This was futile. I tried for years. Nobody listened. Maybe they will. So far they haven't. One thing is for sure, we will not control it. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
I was really going on the warning quite a lot. I was warning everyone I could.
Opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
Now, if we do have a third layer, AI extension of yourself, it will enable anyone who wants to have superhuman cognition.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
And if then, and let's say billions of people do it,
and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name,
then the outcome for humanity will be the sum of human will, the sum of billions of people's desire for the future. They decide that they want to retain their biological self or not. I think they'll probably choose to retain their biological self. If your biological self, probably just upload into a new unit. Literally.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and to overcome them, and to overcome them, and to overcome them, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go in. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, the earth and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he...
In the 50th year, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month of the life of Enoch, in that parable, I saw how the heaven of heavens was shaken violently. The Most High and the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, were extremely disturbed. And then I saw the head of days of his glory, and the angels and righteous were sitting around him. And a great trembling seized me, and fear took hold of me, and my loins collapsed and gave way, and my whole being melted, and I fell upon my face. And the holy Michael sent another holy angel, one of the holy angels, and he raised me. And when he raised me, my spirit returned, for I had been unable to endure the sight of that host, and the disturbance, and the shaking of heaven. And the holy Michael said to me, What sight has disturbed you like this? Until today has the day of his mercy lasted, and he has been merciful and long-suffering towards those who dwell upon the ground. And in those days the angels will gather together, and will throw themselves towards the east, upon the Parthians and Medes, they kings, so that a disturbing spirit will come upon them, and they will drive them from their thrones, and they will come out like lions from their lairs, and like hungry wolves in the middle of their flocks. And they will go up and trample on the land of my chosen ones. And they will go up and trample on the land of my chosen ones. And they will go up and trample on the land of my chosen ones. And the land of my chosen come before them a tramping ground and a beaten track, tramping ground and a beaten track. But the city of my righteous ones will be a hindrance to their horses, and they will stir up slaughter amongst themselves, and their own right hand will be strong against them. And a man will not admit to knowing his neighbor, or his brother, and his father, or his mother, until, through their death, there are corpses enough, and their punishment it will not be in vain. And in those days Sheol will open its mouth, and they will sink into it, and their destruction. Sheol will swallow up the sinners in front of the faces of... And it came to pass after this, that I saw another host of chariots with men riding on them, and they came upon the wind from the west to the south. And the sound of the noise of their chariots was heard. And when this occurred, the holy ones observed it. From head pillars of the earth were shaken from their foundations, and the sound was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven throughout the day. All will fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. And I began to speak the third parable about the righteous. Blessed are you, the righteous and the chosen, for your lot will be glorious. And the righteous will be in the light of the sun, and the chosen in the light of eternal life. There will be no end to the days of their life, and the days of the holy will be without number. And they will seek the light, and will find righteousness with the Lord of spirits, to the righteous with the Lord of the world. And after this it will be said to the holy, that they should seek in the heaven the secrets of righteousness, the lot of faith, become bright as the sun upon the dry ground, and darkness has passed away. And there will be ceaseless light, and to a limit of days they will not come, for dark have been destroyed previously. And the light will endure in front of the Lord of spirits, and the light of uprightness will endure in front of the Lord of spirits forever. And in those days my eyes saw the secrets of the flashes of lightning, and the lights, and the regulations govern, and they flash for a blessing or a curse, as the Lord of spirit wishes. And there I saw the secrets of the thunder, and how when it crashes in heaven above the heard. And they showed me the dwellings of the dry ground, and the sound of the thunder, for peace and for blessing, or for a curse, according to the word of the Lord. And after this all the secrets of the lights, and of the flashes of lightning were shown to me. They flash to bring blessing and satisfaction. In the 50th year, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month of the life of Enoch, in that parable I saw how the heaven of heavens was shaken violently, and the host of the Most High and the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, were extremely disturbed.
Because we are Americans and the future belongs totally to Once more, we will launch intrepid souls blazing through the sky and soaring into the heavens. Once more, we will summon the American spirit, next great American frontier. And once more, we will proudly lead humanity. And that's what it is. It's humanity. Beyond the earth and into those forbidden skies, but they will not be forbidden for long.
Base in 0G. The hair does not know which way down is. There you go. There you go.
Yep. Yep, that's absolutely true. I think our special effects are a little bit better up here, maybe, than in the movie Gravity.
The weird part about it is space is so incredibly
blackly dark.
It's a bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit.
So I'm going to tell you about how we measure dark's invisible. What I have here is a cartoon of how we measure dark matter. In cosmology, we measure distances with Z. So we're here at Z of 0. We're the observer. We're 0 distance from ourselves. And here's our telescope. And we look at distant universe. These distant galaxies that are of Z about 1. And that might sound like a small distance, but how we do it in cosmology is a distance of 1 halfway to the edge of the visible universe. So this is a very distant galaxy. In the absence of anything between us, see?
And God said, "Let there be a firmament
in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
The light from this galaxy would take a straight path to us. But we know from the work that Vera Rubin did that there's all this dark matter out there in the universe. And we're particularly sensitive with this technique to dark matter that's about halfway in the distant galaxy. Excuse me. One of the consequences of Einstein's theory of relativity, our theory of gravity, is that mass bends space. So what this means is the light, when it gets near this dark matter, won't take a straight path to us. That light is going to take a curved path. And I'm showing a very, very exaggerated version of that here, so it's easier to see. The consequence of this is to see the galaxy as it actually is. We'll see a distorted version of the galaxy. So the dark matter between us, which we can, has distorted our image of this distant galaxy. And in doing so, it's telling us something about the dark matter. So with one more analogy, I'm going to use another analogy for how we measure dark matter. This is a penny, the analogy here. And full disclosure, Alina and I don't actually have a pool. So you're looking at a penny in our bathtub, but penny in the pool sounds better. So in this analogy, the penny is like the distant galaxy. And the water in our bathtub, or the water in a pool, like the dark matter. You don't see the water here, but you know it's there because you see the effect on the image of the penny. So what's happening is the light is coming to us from the penny, and it's taking some distorted path that changes our perceived shape of the penny so that we know the water is there. So that we know there. In much the same way as the light from a distant galaxy comes to us, takes a distorted path through the dark matter, and we see a distortion of that galaxy. But we don't see the dark matter. We don't see the water. So that we know the water is there. I could tell the density of and how much water there was, and that's going to tell us a lot about the properties of dark matter. That's how we're learning about dark matter now. That's how we're going to learn about dark matter in the future.
He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies.
Taking a pee on the space shuttle was pretty quick and easy. The hose came with an attachment that you would put on, which was a funnel. So everyone had their own. We didn't share funnels, and it was in a little compartment, and you'd open up the compartment, and there would be the 7 funnels, and you appropriate one and attach it to the urine collection hose, and then you would turn the system on. What it does is it creates a little airflow so that it'll take the liquid down the hose and into the tank. And when that tank reached a level that it was full, we would do a urine dump out into space. It would do a urine dump out into space. It would kind of crystallize and disappear more or less in the vacuum of space. So it was okay to dump urine out there. If it would shine through the dumped urine, and you'd see kind of like a rainbow effect, and that was kind of cool.
And they shall pollute it.
We would do a urine dump out into space.
And they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them.
So it was okay to dump urine out there.
And they shall pollute my secret place for the winter into it and defile it.
Taking a pee on the space shuttle.
Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none.
He made darkness his secret place.
And they shall pollute it.
We would do a urine dump out into space.
He made darkness his secret place.
It would kind of disappear more or less in the vacuum of space. So it was okay to dump urine out there.
His pavilion, round about him were dark water, thick clouds of the skies.
Here are some other equipment we have. This is a water analyzer. We use this, we put water samples in here from all over and test out the water to make sure we have bacteria growing, other stuff growing in the water that would be harmful to us. That's how we test it out. This is actually a container that has urine in it, and we hit it, and we put that then into our recycling system, our water recycling system, So first it goes into the urine processor, and then from there it goes into the water process, drinking water. We're drinking the urine coming from these ones. This is actually a container that has urine in it, and we get that from the Russians, and we put that then into our recycling system, our water recycling system. So first it goes into the urine processor, and then from there it goes into the water processor, drinking water. We're drinking the urine coming from these ones.
Recycling system, a water recycling system. So first the urine processor, and then from there it goes into the water processor to make us drinking water. We're drinking the urine. We're drinking the urine coming from these ones.
What does the ISS smell like?
Oh, you can smell a little roast beef.
When we first docked with the shuttle, there was a noticeable smell, but you get accustomed to it very quickly. So I can't tell anything anymore.
You know, there was some I don't know how to describe it, but some feeling that it was real air that was coming in. And on the hatch, I think we told to each other, hey, can you smell the
You can smell a little roast beef.
Special, and we could really smell.
The poop remained in the toilet. We landed with all of our poop, and then the toilet was serviced once we got on the ground. It does, however, on occasion get stinky in space. What you smell in space in the cabin is generally each other. When we landed on the shuttle, after this situation, the people that would open up the hatch would get a whiff of this and be like,
Smell a little roast beef.
Was usually the reaction.
You're up here on ISS and you need to go to the restroom. You want to come to this cabin, and the first thing you want to do is grab this piece of equipment and put a switch 90 degrees to the open position. What that does is it turns on a fan, which creates a suction effect in this hose. So this yellow element for your number one. For number two, the principle is actually exactly the same, suction. We have a solid waste container here, and on top of it...
After you get a little experience, you could do other things like peeing upside down. This was a challenge given a more experienced astronaut who said it is possible to pee upside down. You just flip yourself upside down. You need to be a little more careful. You don't want to do that on day one. You know, you don't want to hot dog it too much, but...
Is this seat. And the solid waste container is connected via this hose to the same fan, so that, again, the same suction effect allows you to do two.
In weightlessness. I want to show you how it looks, but since we don't want any bad smells to come out, we're going to actually turn on the fan. It's going to be a little bit loud. There we go. Now you can lift the lid. There is this sort of looks comfortable, but you don't really sit in weightlessness. So most of us actually prefer and use directly the opening that goes into the bag. And in fact, there is a bag in there. It looks like this. And when we are done with our business, we close the bag into the solid waste container. And then, of course, as a courtesy to the next person, we put a new fresh bag inside. The solid waste container gets changed when it's full, which is roughly every 10 days for a crew of 3 people using it. This one, for example, was installed on the 61st day of this year.
Okay, so if you do it in the spacecraft? In the spacecraft, it's collected and then dumped as he described. And you would want to see the urine dump was cool. Because it would dump it and it would crystallize and the sun would shine on it and it was really
beautiful.
Fun. It was something. I can't believe I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
A beautiful frozen pea in space. A urine dump.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's a urine dump. Hey, it's a urine dump, and we before you hit the switch, everyone go to the window and watch. That's it. So you're telling me you was orbiting the Earth? Apparently, yes. I never thought of it that way, but yes, for a little bit until it crystallized. It kind of disappears. No, then it would re-enter the atmosphere. Yes. Well. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. I peed on everybody. You peed on Earth. Yes, I guess so. My gosh. Now the secret's out. That's it.
It is possible to pee upside down, which is kind of cool. And it is treated and it is reused. So as my friend Don Pettit says, today's coffee is tomorrow's coffee. As you're sitting on it, but you can still, your butt could still come off the back of it, and that's not good. So in order to keep your butt on the toilet seat, we had these two little arms that would press you into the seat. Actually, to help myself get the right position, as I put my arms up like this, like I was riding a chopper. Peter Fonda in a movie called Easy Rider. That was a good alignment for me. The poop remained in the toilet. The more experienced recovery technicians would time and be prepared for it.
Probably roughly around day 71, we will have to change it again. But urine gets recycled. So the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind here and makes the use of the toilet in space possible, the urine actually gets directly transferred to another piece of equipment which is here in the floor, which is called UPA, Urine Processing Assembly, which is the first step into turning urine into potable water.
What does the ISS smell like? There's one smell up here that's really unique, though, and that is the smell. We just call it the smell of space. We experience it when I haven't had a chance to do a spacewalk yet. I'm still waiting and hoping for that. But when other guys did, after we repressurized and opened up the volume for them to come back into the station, there's this really, really strong smell. And I don't know exactly what it is. Something to do with maybe atomic oxygen and erect materials, or we're not exactly sure what it is. It's a very distinct smell, and it's the smell of space. It's really cool.
And it's a continual occurrence. It's like a very small rain, a drizzle, and it's just something that you have to engineer around when you make a spacecraft.
So we swallow our toothpaste.
Yes, that's right. You just swallow the toothpaste.
What are some of the easiest ways that you can prove that the Earth is flat? There are so many proofs that the Earth is flat. It's difficult to know where to start. It's not okay to think that the Earth is a sphere. This is not a viable argument. There are proofs all around you. It is not difficult to know that the Earth is flat. In fact, people have known this for way more than 2,000 years. Go out to a lake, flat. And you could make all kinds of measurements. Then there are some other proofs that are a little more obscure, but they're actually really lovely. So people have known that the Earth is flat for thousands of years. It's not okay to say that the Earth curved. And it's something where I keep getting this question. We really need to put this question to bed because we've known the Earth is flat. Flat.
The entire experience is actually very surreal. First, you're launched on a rocket. You're pulling G's as you're going out of the atmosphere. You're looking at the Earth for the first time. You're floating. Everything is different, and it just is all just such a different experience that
everything just floats. And sometimes that is really difficult to believe be true.
It almost doesn't seem real.
It's so amazing and such an incredible feeling that it's difficult to believe sometimes that it's actually happening.
It almost doesn't seem real. In fact, when I did my space shuttle flight for 2 weeks in 2008, when I got back, you could have convinced me I never went.
Difficult to believe that it could actually...
You could have convinced me I never went. This experience is so unusual and so different than anything you've ever done in your life.
You know, it was a movie.
I didn't think that it would actually come true.
It's hard to grasp it all.
They over-dramatize things.
I'll tell you, it is still difficult to believe that this is happening.
I came back and my memories were there, but it almost didn't seem real.
In the large swimming pool.
And believing that it could happen.
That it's hard to grasp it all.
How insignificant really we are as humans.
It almost, I think we tend to...
The actors overreact to situations.
It just keeps getting better and better.
Live in our bubble of our world.
It's difficult to describe exactly how it just feels different.
Obviously not very realistic.
They're all around you.
we've known for thousands of years.
Way more than 2,000 years.
To recognize
For thousands.
how we doing. We knew more about the outer solar system in 2001 than the film did.
This is all wrong.
The world is flat.
How we doing?
How dare you?
The Earth is flat.
Yeah, that would be disastrous.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond.
I'd like to go to Mars very quickly.
But that technology...
How we doing? It would kill everyone on Earth.
How dare you?
The Earth is flat.
You've stolen my dreams and my childhood.
But we are all standing under a glass now. And the light is shining through.
And then SpaceX helping make life multiplanetary.
The weird part about it is space is so incredibly black, so incredibly dark. Bottomless pit, bottomless pit, bottomless pit.
To continue the dream of Apollo.
What does the ISS smell like?
Oh, you can smell a little roast beef.
How we doing? The poop remained in the toilet. We landed with all of our poop.
There's no place like space. There's no place like space. There's no place like... Station, this is... Do you hear me?
Everything just floats. And sometimes that is really difficult to believe that it could actually be true.
In this abyss of darkness.
Blackness of darkness.
It was a movie.
I didn't think that it would actually come true. I'll tell you, it is still difficult to believe that this is happening.
I would go back to space in a nanosecond, load my family up on the next rocket, and we'd immigrate into space.
So we swallow our toothpaste.
In space.
I was very sad.
Amazing, amazing.
It's called real good engineering. Okay,
For satellite.
So they don't flat surfaces on a football. That's what I mean by right.
But we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now. And the light is shining through.
Right here on Earth.
I'm Matt.
Then you have a leak.
Gee, why would I care?
How can anyone?
Space. In space.
What it does is it takes your physical abilities to places they have never.
Gee, why would I care?
In space.
Well, wherever it is, I don't like it, and I'm getting out of here.
In space. To life becoming multiplanetary.
Why would I care?
Helping make life multiplanetary.
So we swallow our toothpaste.
All right, I just heard the call out for a good orbit. Dragon and the second stage are confirmed to be in low Earth orbit. One last task that has to be completed, and that is the Dragon spacecraft separating from the second stage. This separation will happen in a few seconds. The camera view we are looking at right now is looking towards the drift from the second stage, and we should see a separation momentarily. And there we go, separation confirmed. That was the final separation for this mission, and Dragon spacecraft is on its way to the International Space Station. Now I want everyone to look at the left side of the screen. What you can see is that Earth is actually not spherical, it is concave according to this image. So we're going to leave this image up for a minute so you can think about that. Another view of the non-spherical surface of Earth from the second stage camera.
Just as the United States was the first nation to reach the moon in the 20th century, so too will we be the first nation to return astronauts to the moon in the 21st century.
Well, how do you plan to get there? In this trash can?
We're dreaming big,
Well, now I've seen everything.
and it'll get more and more obvious as you go along.
Everything's
Taking a pee on the space shuttle was pretty quick and easy. The hose came with an attachment that you would put on, which was a funnel. Their own. We didn't share funnels, and it was in a little compartment, and you'd open up the compartment, and there would be the 7 funnels, and you would take the appropriate one and attach it to the urine collection hose, and then you would turn the system on. What it does is it creates a little airflow so that it'll down the hose and into the tank. And when that tank reached a level that it was full, we would do a urine dump out into space. It would do a urine dump. It would kind of crystallize and disappear more or less in the vacuum of space. So it was okay to dump urine out there. If the sun was shining, it would shine through the dumped urine and you'd see kind of like a rainbow effect, and that was kind of cool.
And they shall pollute it.
We would do a urine dump out into space.
And they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them.
So it was okay to dump urine out there.
And they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it.
Taking a pee on the space shuttle.
Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. He made darkness his, and they shall pollute it.
We would do a urine dump out into space.
He made darkness his secret place.
It would kind of crystallize and disappear more or less in the vacuum of space. So it was okay to dump urine out there.
His pavilion, round about him were dark waters and thick clouds.
Do you even believe in God? Do you believe God sits in his throne above the earth, like Isaiah 66:1 says? Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? This is a question that people need to ask themselves. You see, there's a lot of people who don't understand that this is a problem. Well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites. As it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. If you believe in Jesus, you probably believe in heaven. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, Behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
I'm a NASA astronaut. I'm an angry pig, and I stole the International Space Station. Space Station is a serious place. We're doing pig research. We have a regenerative life support system, which is a fancy way of saying scientific research, that we've got a research toilet that you use, and then a machine that goes chugga, 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 chug, and then you go to the gal of a cup of coffee. Serious research, scientific research, and that's exactly our thinking it is.
But water is such a precious resource up here that we also are cleaning up our urine drinkable, and it's really not as bad as it sounds.
Better you than me.
We even recycle our urine. But before you cringe at the thought of drinking your leftover wash water and your leftover urine,
Chugga, 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 chug.
This is the kind of engineering research that we're doing on Space Station. I want to do some physics demonstrations. Chugga, 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 chug. Some eggs. And don't ask me how I got the eggs on Space Station. I've got a bungee spread across the hatchway. Serious research, scientific research. And this bungee is kind of like a slingshot. And I'm going to show the trajectory that we're going to have when I fire them with this orbital slingshot. Launching Red Bird into space. We're already into space. Chugga, 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 chug. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, all the way down. Guess what? Chugga, 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 chug.
Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug.
And if you understand the math, if you understand the physics, it will allow you to go out and get angry human where astronaut, and you can fly in space, angry human playing games. This is all that's left of Pig after Pig got exploded.
Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug. Chugga, 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 chug.
harness the power of drug. I think it's safe to say that drugs, but I think more importantly that we're very good drug players. We're very good drug members, and we do well in drug situations where we have to work closely with other drugs. And based on that past history, it's what it takes is drugs to push the boundaries of drugs and what they're capable of doing. So I mentioned before, we've been up here for about 2 decades in a space station doing drugs and doing drug demonstrations. And every time we take another drug, how we're going to achieve success 5 years.
I mean, tripping balls here.
Tripping balls here.
Image really did put that thought into people's minds, some of which for the first time.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not, neither were thankful,
but became vain in their imagination.